Hello and Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to my Facebook training today that I am actually really excited to do. I know New Year's and New Year's this is a time of year where everyone's making resolutions. And by the way, if you're coming on live, please say hi. If you're watching the replay, please say hi. I love it when I get feedback and when you guys comment, and I'm actually going to have you guys participate a little bit on today's training too. So back to what I was saying, this time of year it's a fun time of year. Everyone gets to start with a new clean slate of January 1st, starting our goals over again. And everyone's really excited. Why I wanted to do this training, hey guys, say hi if you're coming on, is because 92% of people who set goals do not achieve them. And last year, I set the goal, and for the same 20 years, I had the same goal, which was to lose weight. Yay, you're live! Was to lose weight and to stop binge eating. And I'm happy to say that I actually, for the very first time in my whole life, I achieved my goal. Now, last year, I became obsessed with my goal and trying to figure out how to change, how the transformation, like why do people set a goal and then what prevents them from actually achieving that goal? And that is part of the reason why I became a life coach. That's part of my mission in life, because I spent literally 20 plus years in suffering from binge eating, from overeating, from being stuck in that same cycle. And I would literally think there's something wrong with me. I'm like, why is it so freaking hard to change? Why can I not do this? I'm so smart. I'm intelligent. I follow through with other things in my life. Why am I having such a hard time with losing weight? And last year, I finally figured out not only the formula to stop binge eating, but I also figured out the formula to how to change. So that is why I'm doing this live for you guys today, is because I want to talk about the how, like how does this really work? And I want you guys to go into the new year with tools on how to actually achieve what you want to do. So I have some fun charts today, and I'm going to get right into it right now. So how many times, I'm going to ask a question, how many times have you set a New Year's resolution and then actually achieved it? I'd love to know if you guys want to type it in the box. Is there ever a time? Now, if your answer is that I've been trying to lose weight and I'm still trying to lose weight, this training is for you. I do not want you guys to go through 2019 without losing weight, because I have figured out the formula. There's actually a formula of how to change and how to stop binge eating and how to lose weight. And I want to give that to you so that you guys can set yourself up for success. So let's talk about the problem. Now, the problem is that, we're just going to talk a little bit about before and after, because everyone loves a good before and after. So here you are today, okay? So right now, I'm guessing that maybe you're overweight, that you're binging, or you're overeating, that maybe you're doing dieting or restricting yourself, that you're feeling like a failure. And the version that you want to get to is going to be somebody who's at their goal weight, who is not binging, not overeating, that they're allowing food, that they're not in restriction, that they have food freedom, and that they trust themselves. They trust what they say they're going to do. This is what everyone is looking at getting to. So the question is, how do you go from this version of you to the after version of you? And that's what we're going to go over. So first off, let's go over to the model. Now, those that have worked with me in the past know that I talk about the model a lot, and this is everything. Now, before I go into this, I'm going to talk a little bit about our beliefs, identity, and thoughts. So who we are right now is how we see the world. The results that we have is because of our identity, okay? And what our identity is basically a bunch of belief systems put together. And a bunch of thoughts put together begets belief systems, and a bunch of belief systems comes down to identity. And the answer of how you change is that you change your identity so that it becomes automatic. Because what happens is that what we do most of the time and how we see ourselves and our beliefs, it all goes into our subconscious mind. Now, one of the things with food is that people are always talking about, oh, I feel like I keep on self-sabotaging myself, that I set a goal and then I go right back to my old ways. And the reason why you do that is because you're working with, it's the subconscious mind that is showing up more. And we have to use our prefrontal cortex and outsmart our primitive mind, our subconscious mind, so that we can make changes. And that's really the art of changing, is understanding how our thoughts, our identity, and our beliefs work, and then having the tools I have a 3-step process to actually become this, okay? So when you set a goal, hey Risa, great to see you. I see a lot of people, more people popping on, says come say hi if you're on live. So what happens is, January 1st, we get excited. We're like, new year. There's no failures right now. Everyone's excited, and they set a goal. And usually, and I'm just going to specifically on this. So if you're watching and you have other goals besides losing weight or stop binge eating, you can just apply whatever it is to your goal. This transformation of how to change is transferable to anything, but I'm going to specifically work with weight loss and binge eating. Okay. So we say, you know what, this is the year. That's it. Like, this is the year I'm going to change. And by the way, I can't remember how many times I actually said that to myself. Like, that's it. This is my year. And then it never happened. We do not want this year to go by and that be your story. So that's why it's so important to understand the process of change. So you set a goal. Usually the solution to losing weight is dieting. And so what happens is that you go on a diet, you restrict, you use willpower, and you're still the same person that you were. Your thoughts, your feelings, all of that is the same. And so you end up getting the same results because you don't change your thinking. You're basically changing your behaviors. And when you change your behavior, which is the diet, you can lose weight for a short period of time. Or you can use enough willpower to lose weight. But the truth is, it's not sustainable. And we see this all the time with diets where people will lose 50, 100 pounds, but eventually lose it all. They gain it all back. And the reason why people do that is because, once again, they used willpower, they used a tool for a certain period of time, but they didn't do the mindset work. They didn't change their identity. They don't see themselves as a thin person. Instead, they're still a thin person stuck in the mindset of somebody that's overweight. And so, as a mindset coach, as a life coach, I'm addressing the deep down thoughts and belief systems that are causing people to stay stuck and helping them with rewiring their brain so that they actually become another person, okay? So let's go to the model now. So everything is neutral, but we have a thought about a neutral circumstance. So I'm going to give an example. Our weight, let's just say 200 pounds. Somebody has a thought about their weight, which is I feel fat, or I hate my weight, or I hate my body. That thought creates a feeling. That feeling creates an action, and that action creates our results. So as you know, a bunch of thoughts put together creates a belief, and a bunch of beliefs put together put our identity. So whatever you're thinking here is what you're creating in your life. So when you're here, this is a residual of your current thinking. This is a residual of your current beliefs and a residual of your current identity. In order to become this after, you need to shift this. And that is the process that I teach. So let's get into the 3 things. So now that you guys understand change, this is the process of change. This can be applied to any different problem. Let's talk about the 3 things specifically with stopping with binging and stopping with overeating and losing weight. So the very first thing I don't want you to do, and this is the first mistake that people do, is they set a New Year's resolution and then they don't really change the approach that they're doing, okay? So they try a new diet, same mindset, same habits, But with a new diet, it doesn't work. And what happens is that you try for a little bit and then you fail and then you give up and you get frustrated and then you feel like a failure and you think there's something wrong with you and you beat yourself up. And then maybe in a few months you try another diet. Once again, that fails and you just stay in that same cycle. I know that so well. I stayed there for 20 years and it was hell. It was horrible. So do not try to do this. Don't try to get the same results. Sorry, don't try to get different results using the same mindset that you had last year. That's not going to get you there. You need to shift on an identity level. You need to shift on a belief level. And part of that is getting really honest with yourselves. What is your current beliefs? What is currently keeping you there? Now this is one of my favorite tools and one of my favorite things to do with my clients is to go to this after version, okay? You need to get really good at becoming this person now, okay? So you need to be putting yourself in a position, if I was already at my goal weight, if I was not binging, if I was not overeating, if I was allowing food, and if I trusted myself, what would I be thinking? What would I be doing? How would I be acting? That's where you need to go to now, because when you do this, that's the steps that are going to get you there. Now, the second thing and the second mistake that people make is they go on another diet. Now, what happens when you go on a diet is that you are restricting food. And our natural instinct when we are on a diet as like a human being, our natural instinct is when we feel restriction is our brain kind of freaks out and immediately we want to rebel. And so that's what happens with diets, and that's how people become binge eaters. They don't like their body. They're trying to change the way they look. So they go on a diet, and then that diet restricts them. And then through restriction, our mind freaks out, and then we end up binge eating because that's our natural response to rebellion around food. And then you stay stuck in that cycle. So it's really important to understand that a diet is not the answer. What is the answer is allowing to have nothing off limits. Now, I'm not saying eat whatever you want at any time as much as you want. I'm talking about having some guidelines, having a protocol where you have a way of I guess, pre-planning and a way of living where you trust yourself with food and that you have a system that you're never like, I can't have that. It's just a matter of at the right time and at the right place. And if you're interested in learning more about protocols, I actually have a ton of videos that you can look. I have some YouTube videos. I have some on my Facebook page. You can email me. I can send them. Or you can always sign up for one of my free calls and I can help you come up with a custom protocol. So the third thing that people get wrong when it comes to losing weight in New Year's resolutions is that they are not willing to fail. Now, I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, not be willing to fail, but the truth is that failure is part of the process, okay? And I think this really comes down to you need to change the way that you think of failures. Right now, a lot of myself and a lot of my clients, when I start working with them, and a lot of the people that I just talk to in general, when they have this like all or nothing thinking, there's like on the wagon, off the wagon, and they have these extremes. And so when they eat off their plan or they like screw up on their diet, they automatically are like, I'm a failure. Or the other thing I see is they tell themselves, well, I haven't been able to do in the past, I can't do it in the future. And they make failing a bad thing, but the truth is you actually need to fail along the way. And I'm going to explain this. So when it comes to getting your goals, the best outcome that you can possibly have is a success, that you hit it. Now, the second best outcome that you can have when getting your goals is actually a failure. And the reason that is because the third thing is not trying again and just giving up. Or the fourth thing that you can do is procrastination and not even try. I would rather you sit in failure, which means that you're taking action and that you're trying. So once again, this is where you're at now. Think about all of these as stepping stones to get you closer. And all of these are different skill sets that you have to learn. And in order to get good at a skill set, you need to practice. So the third step is willing to fail, which means that you're taking massive action and that you're trying, and you're trying again and again and again, because that's part of the process. remember who you are right here. This takes time to shift, and you don't get it right away. And that's why having the mindset of failure is part of the process, and to not make it anything bad, but to make it the fact that you're trying and that you're showing up. And that's really what matters, is showing up and doing and being. And that's really like the takeaway that I want you to get from this, is it's not about just slapping another diet on it or like doing the same way. It's about actually changing your mindset, changing your identity, and putting yourself in the position of already being there. Now, how do you do that? And I just gave you some things not to do, but the actual how comes down to a 3-step transformation process that I have created through doing this myself, through coaching hundreds of people, and through getting transformations for other people with stop binge eating, with stop overeating, with losing weight. I figured out, what works and what doesn't work, and it comes down to 3 steps. That's it. 3 steps that will get you the results you want. Now, this is the program that I am currently working. This is a brand new program. It keeps on evolving, the program that I have, because I'm evolving as I'm learning, as I'm helping more people getting transformations. I'm learning more. And so this 3-step process is new. And the very first thing to it is to shift your identity and your beliefs. Now, mostly important here is to be willing to let go of the beliefs that are no longer serving you. And this is the deep work that I do with my clients, where we really address, where are you now, what's no longer working, and being willing to look at your thoughts and being willing to sit with them, and then getting really clear about the person that you want to become. And then every day, a little bit, by day, shifting your thoughts and becoming that person. Now, this is the stuff I go through in my program, but this is all subconscious programming. And really addressing the habit. So it's a little bit deeper, but just know that the first step is shifting your beliefs and doing the thought work and shifting your identity. Now, the second step of the process is mastering the tools. Like I said, the version of you here and the version of you here, the only thing that is getting in your way of becoming this person is just a lack of skills. And as you know, when you first learn something, you're not going to be very good at it. It actually takes practice and it takes mastery. And the more that you master these skills that I teach, which are going to be how to allow urges, how to use the model, how to change your thoughts and your feelings in any moment, how to be uncomfortable, how to pre-plan and have integrity, and basically how to follow through with what you say you're going to do, because that's everything. So once you master those 4 skills, and that is how you get to the after. And then the third part of the third step of the transformation process is to be this person now, to do as that person now, and to practice, and to be willing to fail. And that is when I walk my clients, I handhold them when things come up. We talk about, okay, what went wrong? What can you do better? How can we learn? Never looking at things as failures, but instead just looking at things as lessons. So the process of change, it's not just about setting a resolution and being like, yep, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to have a diet. Here's my new diet plan. It's about creating this skill set and understanding how our subconscious mind works, how our habits work, how to actually become a different person. And the coolest thing about this process that I'm now experiencing in my own life is that when you master these different skill sets, they're transferable to other places of your life. Learning how to think differently, learning how to be uncomfortable, learning how to follow through with what you say you're going to do. Those are transferable to everything. And and I've applied that to creating my business this year, leaving my corporate job, becoming a life coach. So this is about creating a life that's better than food. And that's what I want to offer all of you guys, is this is the year to get unstuck, to get out of your own way. And I want to offer everybody who's listening to this call a free 30-minute transformation call to take you through this before and after process. I can, in 30 minutes, get a really clear idea of where you're at and where you need to go. Then the question to you is this program the right fit to get you there? Because you have to be willing to do the work. And that's really what it comes down to. So regardless if you think that you need a coach to help you or you can do it on yourself, the 3 things I want you to walk away from this free training is, 1, Don't just set resolutions and think that you're going to do the same thing and just do a new diet. You need to switch the mindset. You need to switch your identity, your beliefs, and your habits, which once again comes down to the subconscious. The second thing is do not go on another diet, okay? Diets don't work. Do not put yourself in restriction where you are, wanting the food that you're putting things I can't have, you're saying good and bad. It puts your brain in a place where it is wanting to rebel, and then you rebel by overeating and you go back into that habit loop, and that's just called the binge cycle. And then the third thing that I want you to take away is you must be willing to fail. You must be willing to practice. You must be willing to get good. You're not going to be good right away at everything. You have to be willing to, have compassion with yourself, because that's the most important part, is that you keep on showing up and you try. Once again, success, that's the best outcome you can possibly have. But the next best outcome that you can have is a failure, because at least you're trying, okay? At least that you are showing up and you're not procrastinating, because procrastinating, you're just sitting on the couch and watching other people do it. So, thanks, Johnny. So this is your year, okay? I'm honestly am so passionate about this, because I spent, like I said, 20 years in this up and down with diets, thinking diets were the solution, feeling frustrated, feeling stuck, thinking that there's something wrong with me. And it just came down to, I didn't understand the process of change. I tried to solve my solution with something outside of me, like a diet, but really the real change comes up in our minds and our brains and changing our identity. This stuff is so powerful. So if you have any questions, you want me to go deeper on any of this stuff, please leave a comment, reach out to me. I love talking about this. I literally have left my 6-figure corporate job to make this my full-time career, because I want to help others just like you get unstuck and find freedom with food, find freedom with their body, and not only that, just create an amazing life. So thanks for tuning in, and I will be back in probably next week. I'll do another training too. So have a great one.